Have you seen those Detroit self-defense videos?
Yeah, I think. Oh, I know I have. I'm trying to think how I saw them, but yeah, because a lot of jiu-jitsu people will repost those things. Yeah.
What do you think that people misunderstand when it comes to life and death fights, street fights? What do you think most normal people who haven't been in one misbelieve?
I don't know what that has to do with those Detroit videos. Those
What?
Detroit videos are definitely.
It's a pantomime.
Yeah. So I guess. So I guess what to answer your question, what do most people not understand about a street fight? They're probably not used to just the level of violence that's going to occur. Maybe this is what you're getting at with the Detroit self-defense videos or whatever they are. The choreographed maneuvers that work when you and I are going through them and sort of dancing, those aren't going to work in real life. And so if you think that you're going to be able to drop someone with one punch, or you think all those things that are sort of the old traditional martial arts, doing kata, and I do this to you and it causes this reaction, then my next move is over here. Yeah, that stuff doesn't really work in a street fight. Yeah.
The groin kick and the palm of the hand to the nose to run away from the female, to run away from the attacker and stuff like that.
Yep. It's not going to work well, and it's not very reliable. If you want to learn how to fight, you got to learn how to fight. You got to do jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, wrestling, boxing. That's what you need to do if you want to learn how to fight.
Have you been to go and see what Tim Kennedy's doing up at his place with his self-defense courses?
I have not been to one of his courses. It's called Sheepdog Response, but I've seen what he's doing. And of course, Tim's not only is he well versed in martial arts, clearly, he's also well versed in weapons, and he's also well versed in violence. And so I know what he's teaching is legit stuff.
I'm pretty sure they're using live handheld tasers as well during that, to just show people precisely how difficult it is to do the face palm and the eye gouge and the fish hook and run away. And I think it must be monthly. He does a special one for not military personnel, for the police.
Mm-hmm.
And even them, the amount of training, we've seen this recently, right? That the training seems to be insufficient.
Yeah, the training for police officers is totally insufficient. And it's horrible because it's a very difficult job that you should be training. I've been saying for the last several years that police officers should train 20% of the time. 20% of the time that they work, they should be training. And right now, it's probably not even a measurable percentage of time that they're working. I mean, it's probably in the fractions of a percent that they're training. They get horrible training, and they're in really dynamic situations and in doing an incredibly hard job. You don't know how to do that stuff. You talked about the misconceptions of the street fight is the person that thinks, well, if someone messes with me, I'm just going to get wild. And they think that's going to work. And that's not going to work, especially against someone that's trained. So if you think that you're going to have some magical powers because you're angry or because your adrenaline's going, that's not true. And it's going to cost you in a big way.
Especially if you come up against somebody like Tim Kennedy, who's genuinely trained.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And this day and age, well, I live in San Diego, California. A lot of people train. I wouldn't say it's the majority of people train, but there are a lot. If you get into a fight in San Diego, there's a decent chance you're fighting against someone that knows how to fight. And look, there's jiu-jitsu on every street in San Diego, jiu-jitsu academies. So, yeah, if you just think you're going to be a tough guy, it's going to be rough. It's going to be a rough tour.
I saw a video the other day that you may have seen as well of Tim talking about changes he was making to his everyday carry.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see this?
I don't think so.
He was changing the weapon that he was using, the pistol, because recently some of the active shooters have been using body armor.
Mm-hmm.
So he's now gone to a relatively small caliber, but a armor-piercing round.
Yep.
Are you concerned about this increasing sophistication that seems to be coming from people that are shooters?
Yeah, there's an escalation there, right? But That's the military went through this with the people we were fighting. They start wearing body armor. Cool. Roger that. You want to wear body armor? We'll get armor piercing rounds. You know, it's just a natural escalation of things, unfortunately, but it's the way it is.
It's kind of like the predator-prey dynamic, right, of evolution.
Yeah. Yeah. The enemy's going to make adjustments, and we're going to have to adjust back.
What are your principles for an everyday? Are you allowed? Can you have an everyday carry in San Diego?
Yes.
Right. What are your principles that you follow for that?
The same as a normal person that wants to protect themselves.
Well, we had this recent 4th of July shooting, right? And then before that we had Uvalde, and then before that we had Buffalo. Have you got any idea if this is the sort of thing that can be stopped or can be restricted in some way?
Yeah, I did some podcasts on these things, and some of the biggest, or I would say one of the most startling things about as you watch the evolution of this. So in 1955 in America, there was 340 inpatient beds for people with mental health issues per 100,000 people. So for every 100,000 people in America, there was 340 inpatient beds for those people, from people with mental health problems. In 2007, it was 17 beds per 100,000. So the mental health capacity for treatment in America is gone down in a 95%. And there are some legitimate reasons why this happened, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that people were getting put in these institutions, and there were some horrible abuses that were going on in some of these mental institutions, people being committed that didn't want to be in there, people that were abused once they were in there, people that could never get out of there. And there was a backlash against that. And it all of a sudden became in the 70s, hey, these mental health facilities are evil, they're bad, there's abuse going on, we need to shut them down. And they shut down a lot of them. And so in doing that, it certainly appears to me that they threw the baby out with the bathwater. And now we've got, I mean, you think San Diego, there's 2 or 3 million people here. There's a lot of people that need help, mental health help. And there's just not a great place to get it.